you for being here with us today. Just wanted to check in with you, let you know that I'm here with you, that I love you, and that we've got this. Here we are, coming towards the end of May, about to be moving into summer, the warmer months, longer days, fun times, times to be outside and to be active and to be with nature. So all good things. The heat can definitely, just like anything to an extreme, can be difficult to bear with, but we'll do our best to manage that. And it's important to soak in the sun, but obviously we don't want to cook ourselves, so let's take care of ourselves and make sure we're safe and protected, and let's enjoy the sun also. Let's soak it in, and it's got a lot of healing properties to it. Can help draw. It draws out. Okay, so let your body just sit in the sun and maybe focus on some intentions and some things you want to let go of, and just let the sun draw it out. Let the heat draw it out and the sun draw it out of you. So let's focus on that. Let's get in the water if we can. Some natural bodies of water. Let's connect with the earth. I love this time of year. I wish it lasted longer. I live in the Midwest, so we don't get too many months of hot weather or just consistent warm weather in general at all. So I do enjoy when this time of the year comes, and I'm looking forward to having some fun and being outside more. It seems like it's like almost like in a state of hibernation throughout the winter, and even through this most of the spring. A lot of times it's just very cold and wet, and then we get a few months throughout the summer to really enjoy it. So get out there and enjoy it. Other than that, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's really working their butts off. I know it's not easy, and this all is a process. Whether you understand what that means or what the process is, it is a process. And what a process means is there's steps that, there's steps that you take, but it's like a progression. Okay, it's not just nothing, and it's not just randomness, but it's also not just something that happens all at once. Just like if you are to be trying to learn anything, a skill or a craft, or just to understand how something works, it takes practice. Okay, and what we're not taught, and what we don't understand, and what we should be kind of taught, the mindset we should be taught when we're younger, is life is a series of progressions. At least that's what we want it to be. We want to be continuously and constantly progressing throughout our life, as far as maturing, growing, understanding. Those are three good ones right there. Okay, there's a lot of things that are encompassed within those three things. So we want to continually be progressing in those directions. And what that does is it makes us as a person a more whole person. The process the process that we are all here for is to grow. The simplest way I can put it, I've said it a bunch of times, and this is exactly how it is. A caterpillar has a purpose. Their purpose is to become a butterfly. Some caterpillars don't make it to become a butterfly, for one reason or another. But they seem to all have an understanding that that is their purpose. Their process is to live a life as a caterpillar and then progress and become something more. The caterpillar, their perspective is limited to the ground. Very, very low perspective. By becoming the butterfly, they've essentially freed themselves from the attachment to the earth and now have the ability to roam as they please and see things from a much grander and greater perspective. So they become more than they were. And wouldn't all caterpillars, if you were to ask them, wouldn't they all say they would want to and would be excited to become that butterfly? Because we know, as we know, they're all individual and unique. And so they have their own patterns, and they have their own colors, and they have their own shapes and sizes and designs, but they're all beautiful in their own way. But if we were to have rewound time and taken all of those butterflies that we see and just rewound time back to when they were all caterpillars and put them out in the forest somewhere, are any of us even noticing them? Probably not. And is it about being noticed? No. But guess what? That's what comes with being great, is noticeability and awareness and attraction. Okay? So it comes with it. And are they showing off? No, they just are who they are, aren't they? They're not wearing a costume. They're not wearing makeup. They're not trying to pretend to be anything. They just literally are glorious and beautiful. So, the thing with the human being that we are not taught and we don't understand and that we don't have any frame of reference of is that our process is exactly the same. The world we live in now, however, and for a long time now, has become a world of caterpillars that don't know they're supposed to fly. And if you don't know you're supposed to fly, how are you even supposed to grasp and understand the fact that you're supposed to grow, that you're supposed to change into something else? So we've all become comfortable with continuing to crawl on the ground our whole lives, walk on our feet, and be attached to the earth, and that be the end of it. But there's more. There's more to the human being's story, and the more to the human being's process than we are led to believe and understand. And what we really are to is to transform while we are alive here. Everyone thinks this afterlife is the point of transformation, but it's not. Look at us throughout our whole lives, we're just transforming, right? On a physical level. What we're not doing is transforming on a spiritual level. It takes love, and this is what I've learned over the past, I've been learning it, but it really clicked over the past week or two. Love and honesty. Okay? It takes love and honesty to make this transformation happen. Most of us are lacking in those departments, whether in giving or receiving on those ends. Very few of us are overflowing on both ends of those spectrums. So, and even if we experience times of it, it's not this long-lasting, consistent thing because we're constantly faced with around us negative things, whether it be things that we see on the news or hear about from our friends or see with our family members or have to deal with in relationships or with our jobs. It's constantly, there's constantly negatives that are out there that are kind of working their way towards us. And so as much as we are trying to remain in this state of, I don't want to use the word bliss, but that's really what the experience kind of feels like when you're in that place. But so we're constantly kind of pulled out of that place of bliss, so to speak, and place of love a lot of times because we're tested, so to speak. We're tested with how are we going to deal with this? And so until we can really change our environments, and not just one area of the world, but all of us together on a global scale, like really like decide to change our environment to suit this process that I'm talking about, to suit the transformation that I'm talking about, it's going to be very difficult for us to see it happen. And that's why we don't see it happen. And also because we're not told that it's supposed to happen, and so none of us end up doing it, and we don't hear about it. But I guarantee you, if we were able to find records of the human being, and of beings in general, going back in time, you would see that it is a process of transforming into a being of light while you are alive. Okay? It's a transformation, it's a metamorphosis, no different than a caterpillar. If caterpillars and butterflies didn't exist, and we all read about it as mythology, none of us would believe it. None of us would believe it was a real thing. We would, because there's nothing else. There's very, very few things. I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. There's nothing else that is as magical as the transformation of a caterpillar to a butterfly. And if you do some research, which I didn't know, is that when they're in the cocoon, now again, they're cocooning themselves. And I had to ask myself the other day, what would be the cocoon for the human being? Because we're not literally cocooning ourselves. And the cocoon, and I wrote it last year in a note, and it came to me again recently, is we have to be cocooned in love. That is the cocoon. Once you're cocooned in love, and it is a cocoon with a caterpillar, it takes time, okay? Just like I said, it's not, a caterpillar cocoons itself and overnight it's a butterfly. It is a process. And in that cocoon, if you look it up right now on Google, the caterpillar actually liquefies itself. What? Let me say that again. The caterpillar liquefies itself. The body liquefies. Organs, tissue, all material liquefies itself. And then this change begins to happen, and a new creature begins to emerge. And literally over a process and period of time, as long as the cocoon is nurtured and can remain in that cocoon of love, if we could as humans, this change really actually happens. And all of a sudden the cocoon breaks open. And one day, this magical flying creature that you never could have dreamt of coming from what was before emerges, and literally with the knowing in its conscience just knows how to fly like it's done it its entire life, doesn't it? It is an incredible thing. Now, could you imagine watching a human being do something like this? We're these crawling creatures, aren't we? We're these walking creatures, just like caterpillars, going about our days, but we just age and age and age and get worse and unhealthier and then die. We don't ever fly, do we? But imagine watching a human being go through this process. Well, guess what? You're watching it. So tune in, guys. You're watching someone do it right now. Can I say right now that I am and have been sustainably and consistently cocooned in love? No, but guess what? I am feeling it, and I am understanding what that means, and I am accepting it and embracing it. And so what I feel is literally what's happening. I can literally feel the spiritual wraps going around me. Every day, I'm becoming more and more cocooned in love and honesty and truth. And you are watching, and I am documenting for everyone's viewing pleasures, this transformation, and I have been for a while now. And I'm also documenting in a form of literature, so notes and writings, so that the people that come after and in the future, these are real words, believe them or not, will be able to have, quote unquote, a playbook to go off of, a blueprint to say, this is all literally the man's mind put on paper, and I can just dive into it, you know, and this is how he got there, so I can also get there as well. It's like me providing the ocean for you to cross and say, here you go, it's been created. Or the bridge, so to speak. But it's more like an ocean, because you can dive in and go all over the place. It's not just one straight line. It can be, but we're not that good, are we? So we end up, sometimes the waves push us back, sometimes we get taken under, but it's all about a process. It's all about continuing to come above the water, keep our heads up, and keep moving along, keep diving in and figuring it out. And so that's what I'm doing. So what's going to happen as we keep going along here is I'm going to keep growing. You are all going to keep watching, and you're all going to keep growing for that as well. That is the benefit of following along with someone who knows what they're doing, isn't it? So you all continue to grow, and then you're watching the transformation. Now, none of us have seen it. You can't just, oh, let's watch an old video of someone doing it, or let's find a history book where this person did it. No. You hear stories, religious stories of it. Okay? But even like a story like Jesus, they claim like he was killed and then rose from the dead. That's not how it is. We're not zombies here. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about transformation while you're alive. And a real one that you could actually watch. And you are watching it. Anyone that's known me my whole life can really attest to that transformation, to where I'm at now. People that have just gotten on board, you are seeing the progression, and you will. As people that are on board now, and 5 years from now, again, you'll continue to see the transformation. So, what's going to continue to happen is these layers keep getting wrapped around of my cocoon of love. And I am doing it. And I become brighter, and I become lighter, and I become happier, and I become kinder, and I become more loving, and I become more honest and more truthful, and these videos become more and more gold. The words keep coming out of my mouth are more and more gold, right? It's because it's truth, and it's honesty, and it's what you've been waiting for. You that's watching right now, it's what you've been waiting for. Somebody who's real, that's like you. You see, that's the other thing about these religious figures is they're so much more than you, aren't they? And it's like we can never attain to something at that level, and so we're all below this, and we all want to look up to something, and we're waiting for someone to come down and that is better or bigger or grander or greater. But it's not. It's you and it's me. It's just little O'Brien, okay? We are the ones. And so, but we're not seeing it happen to anyone around us, are we? We're not seeing, oh man, look at that. That person did it. They put themselves in the cocoon of love. They managed to figure out how to do it, and they've made their transformation. But what does that transformation look like? That's the part, okay? That's the part that excites me. Back in the old days, I would try to force what I thought was what was going to be or how it should be. No, it's about a flow. It's about allowing it to come in and understand it. It's really a remembrance, because all we are is we have all this DNA in us. We have all these chemicals running through us, and our brains are like live computers. And so all it takes is a remembrance, because it's already there. The information is already there. So it's not like you didn't know and you know. No, it's already there. It's just unlocking it. And as soon as you hit on it, and it's just a process, you keep doing the right things. That's why I preach doing the right things. What is that benefit of that? It's that your dreams keep coming true. The truths keep coming to you. The understanding keeps happening for you. The growth and maturity keeps happening by doing the right things. And so you keep doing it. You keep doing it. What's up, Waylon? Love you, brother. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being with us today. So I don't try to force what I think it's going to be. You can see a lot of people do that. They try to tell you what it's going to be. I do that after I have experienced I've experienced it, then I can talk about it. So, what I see is this. I see me getting lighter and brighter, like I said. What does that mean? I keep feeling like, because everything's a movie. We live in a world, and us in our generation have grown up on movies, right? And so if you're a person that watches a lot of movies, you can almost become really good at the beginning of a movie, almost predicting the movie, right? What the next scene is going to be. And so this is how I kind of see the future as I'm thinking about it sometimes, is if I was the script writer, what would make sense? Like, how is this unfolding? Now, that's what a lot of times a great movie is, that twist, right? And they say, wow, man, that was a good one. You want to tell your friends to watch it. Wow, that one really was good. We enjoy that as human beings, and that is why life is so grand. That's why this plan is so wonderful, is because the moment you got it all figured out, it kindly reminds you it's even greater. So I don't sit here and try to tell you what it's going to be, because we're going to experience it, because this guy's going through it. And so we're going to see it. What I feel, though, is in my soul is like literally a light breaking free from my chest. And essentially that being the shedding of my cocoon, which would be the physical body. And I see myself emerging from that as a being of light. And does that mean I died? No. Does that mean I had to be buried and risen? No. Does that mean it was painful and an agonizing thing for me to have to go through? No. That doesn't sound like any of those things, does it? No, it sounds like an entirely different process than what we all understand death to be, doesn't it? Even people that are on their deathbeds who have lived a long life as a caterpillar, but really it's not a full life because they haven't become a butterfly, has it? So people that have lived a long life as a caterpillar, even those people who are expecting death and awaiting it, do you think it's a pleasant thing? No. No. And it's not for anybody that's around those people either. But what I'm talking about is a grandiose thing. It's a thing that will have spectators wanting to watch. And that's exactly how it used to be back in the day. Because you'd have people doing this, and you'd have people watching and say, another one did it. Another one did it. So maybe I shed free from my body, and you literally see me break free as a light being. That's a visible thing you can witness. And now I am free, aren't I? Just like a bird. Not dictated by anything other than my own self. In tandem with the life that I'm living in. Because that's how we got there. Okay? Whew. I'm really glad I was able to get that all out on this live video. None of this is scripted. I don't sit here. This is exactly how my writings are too as well. People sit here I see they talk about writing and writing draft after draft and crumbling it up and throwing it out and starting over. And I can't think of what to write in writer's block. If you can't think of what to write about, you're thinking about the wrong thing. Aren't you living a life? You literally have 24 hours in a day to write about every day, about what you're doing, what your experience is, what your life is, what you're going through. And we all have literally our entire pasts to catch up on, don't we? So you have tons of material. Also, we have imaginations, don't we? So we can think about the future and what's to come, and we have so many things to write about. So this idea of like editing your stuff and I don't know what to write and it doesn't sound good, and asking like other people's opinions about does it sound good, or it's you. Write you. I want to hear your story, because your story is what's beautiful. Your story is what's true. This is why you're watching and listening to me right now, because it's real. Because it's interesting. Anybody can script something and say something stupid. It doesn't matter. We can all see through that. Again, we've all been watching movies and TV shows and commercials our entire lives. We all know when someone's acting, don't we? Is this dude acting right now? No. You can watch people and you can see right through their shit. Be honest. Be you. You have a story to tell. Just like I'm telling my story. I want you to tell your story. What that's going to do is it's going to free you. This is, again, why we don't become butterflies. Because we hold everything in. We take it to our grave. Look we're already determining we're going to die. We're already determining we are not going to live and break free and transform and do anything else other than find ourselves in a fucking box at one point or another in our life, or burned into some ashes. What is that? Is that what you would write if you were the scriptwriter? Hell no. I wouldn't be killing my character off. I know that much. I'd be like, this dude's about to be popping off and we're going to do some great things. And it's always happily ever after, isn't it? There's no happily ever after once you're dead. Don't you get that? This idea of heaven is this great place to be. If you have to die to go somewhere, it's not a great place to be. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay? So we all want to make sure we continue to focus on living what does living even mean? We think living means dying. Living does not mean dying. Dying has its own definition. Living means living. I'm going to keep living. This guy right here is going to keep living. You're going to witness that. You're going to have the skills and the abilities to do the same thing. And what a great time to be alive, isn't it? Because before this moment, did you hear anybody doing videos like this or saying these things? Probably not. And you can watch, the closest thing I can think of is like Buddhist monks, okay? You can hear of Buddhist monks saying that they obtain to these things. You can read stories about these things, but it's not the same thing, because what these people are doing is they're killing themselves. They starve themselves and kill themselves. This is not what I'm talking about. That is not enlightenment, that's stupidity. People who do that are stupid. These people who claim that separation from the self through meditation in these Buddhist religions and philosophies and in these Hindu religions and philosophies of separation of self, as that is how do you obtain enlightenment? That's how you obtain stupidity. That's how we've all gotten into this mess, is because we've become separated from ourself. We're trying to regain connection with ourself. It is not a separation of self, it is a reconnection with self. Okay? That's the problem. We've been severed. We're regaining that self. Okay? This guy has regained that self, and I'm continuing to build on that relationship and harness it in. An interesting movie that came out that's very similar, although in a weird way, is the movie Venom. It's like this alter self that is able to go into the body and work as one, right? Whereas two alter egos, and it's not exactly how it is, but it's you. It's this self that comes into you that we have been separated from. And maybe it's always been there, but if you can recall, a lot of times in your life when you hear this negative voice that maybe is like, oh, you suck, or oh, why'd you do that? Or, okay, it's not a separate self or voice than you. It is you. What it was is that we are separated from a relationship with ourselves, and so we have this voice that appears to be yelling at us and is frustrated with us and is mad at us because we're not doing the right things, and it's trying to catch our attention. And what we do is we argue with this voice, okay, and we let it bring us down instead of understanding what's really happening. What we do is when we start doing the right things, that voice silences itself, because there's no need for it to be there. Just as there would be no need if your best friend wasn't shooting up heroin for you to have to say, probably not a good idea for you to shoot up heroin. I love you, buddy, and you're going to die, and I don't want that to happen. Oh, all of a sudden they're doing the right things. That conversation doesn't need to happen. You see how no one's feelings need to get hurt. No one needs to feel like they're being put down and labeled and judged, right? It's just ourselves trying to let us know. We're just trying to keep each other on the right page and on the right track. Okay, so that voice gets silenced. I'm going to finish this thought before I move on. That voice gets silenced, and what ends up happening is you end up building on a relationship with the healthy side of yourself, the healing and healed side of yourself, the self that is ready to do the work, that self, okay? And all of a sudden it's, I know where I need to be when I need to be there. I know what I need to do when I need to do it. I know if this is right or wrong. Also, it's putting in work and seeing the reward. And it's not about the reward, because being a human being isn't about a payoff. We have the gift of life, don't we? It's about proving that we care enough to be living. And so you want to do the right things. It's just a benefit that life and our team of ancestors around us are so gracious and kind enough to see the good that we do and say, you know what? Let's make something great happen in this person's life today. Let's let someone have the time to turn on their Facebook and be able to tune into a video that's going to change their life. Let's give that person that time. Let's give them that reward, because they're doing the right thing, because they've been doing the right thing and they've found themselves in the right place. Because if they weren't, guarantee you they would not be here right now, would they? No. So, cheers to you. Cheers to all that you're doing. I appreciate all of everybody's support. I understand this is a crazy process that we're all going through, not just me. I just seem to be, at least from my perspective, somebody, from what I see around me and what I see on social media, somebody who is getting it. Somebody who it's clicking with. Somebody who, just like if you were learning an instrument or anything else, is really giving every bit of effort towards this understanding and harnessing that in and becoming that. And so I find myself in a place that's honest and truthful, and a lot of times what I find is people are reaching out to where I'm at rather than the opposite. I'm not saying this to be cocky or to be selfish or any of those things. My experience is that no matter who I've come across, there's still, no matter what understanding they have, there's still a lack of understanding compared to the understanding that I currently am having. And we are all currently and always progressing. It's no different than if we were on a escalator. All it is that I am like a step or two up, okay? There has to be an example. If there was never an example, then it couldn't be done. And an example can even be a thought, right? Like somebody has, they always talk about like these people who are inspired, all of a sudden they just have a random dream or a thought. Well, that was still an example, wasn't it? But none of us have an example of, I'll just say it, how to beat death, do we? We don't have the example, do we? We don't have the example of not how to digress as you get older and age, but to progress and to get healthier. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't seem rational in our way of thinking of what we see around us. We just see people get older, get wrinklier, get more ill, and die. And so there has to be an example. For whatever reason, the role that I'm playing is that example. It's what I do. It's what I do. I feel like it's what I do. Okay. I may have done it many times before. And I'm here just doing it again. Every time is different though, isn't it? It's always a different time with different people and different circumstances. But it's always about reminding the people around me that it can be done. Showing them it can be done. That is my job. That is why I'm here. We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. I will succeed. I will succeed. If there's one thing about the person I am, I do not accept that I can't do something. If there is a task that has been placed upon me, whether it's from somebody else or myself, unless I have entirely, in my own self, have concluded that I have entirely exhausted all avenues and options of being able to succeed in that task. Will I ever say that it can't be done? Obviously, we're not talking about things like, can I go underwater and open my mouth and hold my breath and drink water and swim under? I'm not being like that, okay? I can hear people out here. See, this is what I do. I say things, and then I can already hear the voices yabbering back, okay? We're talking about tasks placed upon our soul by ourself. We all come here to become butterflies, to become beings of light. It is a process you have to go through while you're alive. But nobody seems to get that. They have gotten half of the world bought into the idea that God lives in heaven, and the only way to get to heaven is to die. The other half of the world doesn't give a shit. It's about spend my time and my money as I please because I don't have very much of it, and it's going to be gone one day. What kind of mindsets are either of those? This is why people fail. This is why people don't make it. But this guy ain't going to be one of them. And I really hope that you aren't one of them either. Because what a shame it would be to have someone telling you to your face, you can be free. And for you to say, I'm good. That is selfish. That lets me know you're not very in tune with yourself, because yourself is about to go slap your life around for making that choice, and the rest of your life is going to be a living miserable hell. We don't understand that the choices that we make determine the next circumstances of our events of our life. For making the right choices, the next set of events and circumstances are positive ones. If we're making the wrong choices and doing the wrong things and are in the wrong places, the next set of circumstances and events that happen are negative ones. And we continue to have a whole bunch of people in a boat that says life is this negative thing that is against you, because their experience has been a constant path of negative events and circumstances, because they continue to make the wrong choices, do the wrong things, and have a mindset of negativity. You ain't that special yet, but you ain't that special. Again, we all just woke up one day in this beautiful gift of a world that we want to be so mad at. It's not the world we're mad at, it's the system that we have been born into, that our souls don't agree with, that are, again, why they're yelling at us, do something about this. Please do something about this so I can be free. That self that's in you. So stop getting mad at life. Okay, life is not against you. Life is only here for your benefit, and it is literally what is allowing you to exist. You have the cynics that say, I'd rather not exist. You say that, and again, you're not very in tune with yourself, are you? Because that's why you've found yourself in this place, again, of dying and suffering and in pain. Because you'd rather just not deal with it. I'd rather not. People, again, you have other people that believe they've got it all figured out and they have nothing to learn. Those people are the quickest ones to go. Something stupid accident happens, some tragic thing. The wise guys, okay? You can see how a lot of people set themselves up. And nobody's blaming anybody in the afterlife. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. Guarantee a lot of people are looking at themselves there and saying, You're the only reason you're here right now. And trust me, you don't want to be there. You want to be here. You want to be living. You want to be alive. Why do you think so many people have these experiences of ghosts or spirits or ancestors reaching out? It's a wanting to be here because they're living, because they can have experience and feeling and, all these things. In that place, it's essentially, I'm in a waiting game until I can have a life again. Okay? We don't want that. We want our lives to just continue. When we have that state of freedom that I was speaking of earlier, don't you think you can rest as much as you want? Yeah, I don't need to die. I don't need to die in order to rest in peace. That's not resting in peace. You're dead, bro. That's no rest. That's non-existence. Rest is beautiful because you get to wake up and feel it. Well, if I'm dead, I ain't waking up, am I? So so what we want to do is get to a place of breaking free from the limitations that we've been under, just no different than the caterpillar, the limitations of the body and all his little legs, the limitation of that. And we want to become something more, something that's more free, something that's more beautiful. And we don't need to die to do that. Okay? We're going to continue our life. And then you can rest if you want to. Go ahead. Take a few millennia off if you want. But you're alive and you're in control. Maybe you decide to go just swirl around the air as in the ether, okay? But you have full control of that and full conscious awareness of that. And if you want to take form, why not do it? Wouldn't some argue that this would be a god? Someone who's in full control, could take form and shape in life whenever they please. Okay? Someone who's in that place, you see how it's a next level. Because you find yourself there, and then you are asking yourself from that perspective, what now? And what just came to my mind is creation. So you find yourself being able to have the freedom to be in tandem with the creation. But now let's begin creating. Let's begin leaving an everlasting impression and stamp upon this existence. Let's begin healing. Let's begin rising. Let's begin lifting. Let's begin inspiring. Let's begin motivating. They say there's a light in us. And I really believe it. And I really, really believe it. We are very electrical beings. We are very electrical beings. We can literally cause current by holding a voltmeter. Okay? There is absolutely no reason to believe that we could not generate light from our bodies. I'm excited to see what has never been seen before. I'm excited to be something that I have never witnessed before, and have no reference for myself to go off of other than my own mind, my own heart. I guess it'd be no different than an architect envisioning a great endeavor that they're dreaming of and making it happen and seeing it come to light and seeing the actual representation of that take form and shape. Just as they had no example of what, an identical example to go off of. It was a new idea. It was a new creation that no one had ever done before, right? But finally seeing it take shape after a long time of a lot of work and a lot of commitment and a lot of not giving up. Okay, a lot of dealing with a lot of obstacles and hardships and not deciding that it's not worth it, but deciding I'm going to continue to hold on to this dream of what I see, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to see it in front of my face one day. And I literally wholeheartedly believe that about everything I'm talking about here, about myself and about all of us. I know it's going to happen. That's what excites me. So it makes me continue to want to just be a kind and loving person every day, because that's the way we get there. That's the way that we can all get there. It's just being kind and loving and honest. This is, it's just, nobody that is dishonest within themselves likes being honest, because they know that they're not honest with themselves. But that's why we live in this world, like we're all lying to each other. We are all, or we're looking the other way, which is just another form of lying. Like, if I'm accepting of you, like, doing the wrong thing and I don't say anything, like, I'm lying to myself. I'm lying to you that I care, because obviously I don't. It starts with you being honest with yourself. And we all know what we're not being honest about. There's a checklist in there, trust me, if you want to think about it. Go through it, please. It's like a file on a computer. Just click on my lies, my secrets. Click on the file. Open it up. I know, it's your file. It's even hard for you to look at it. It's weird, right? But just open it up. Don't you want to clear those files out? Do you want them continuing to sit there? No. You want your desktop to be nice, clean, healthy, positive things. Okay? You don't want to have this baggage. Open those files one by one. Click on it. Click on that first. Click on that oldest, biggest, first, lie or secret that you're holding in there. Review it so you can remember exactly what it was, and then make right on it. It's not hard. Apologize. Tell the truth. Be honest. If it's involving people that you, and again, this is about, don't say, the person lives in, I don't know where that. We all know we can reach out to people if we want to. Now, you're not saying you have to do this, but if you feel in your soul, and when you're going through the file, every instance will be different. But you might be going through file A, and it was dealing with person B, and you're like, you know what? I really owe person B an apology. Or I owe person B an explanation because I lied to them during that time. They don't know the truth. You need to do that. You need to do everything you can in your power to reach out to person B and explain yourself. And if there is no way for you to do that, if there's literally no way for you to contact them, what needs to be done is there has to be a moment of intentional release of the lie from you. Which means that if their friend comes over later that day that also believed this lie, does that mean you continue to make it the lie? No, you've intentionally released the lie, so now the truth is what it is, and you're going to let everyone know that needs to know. So what we can do there is we can intentionally say with our thoughts and our heart and let person B know, hey, in this moment, this was a lie, and wherever you are right now, I hope that you're receiving this in your heart and in your soul, and I'm sorry, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and a beautiful life. Because lies hurt people. Even if you think they don't know, and if they don't know, their life is not whole and complete because they're being lied to about their own existence, about something that was involved with them. Don't you get that? You're holding something from somebody, their life, their truth. So until you give that back, you're in the wrong. And do you think you're going anywhere with that? Nah. Going right where everybody else is going. So, we let go of the lies and the secrets. That is step one. Once you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to feel empty. You're going to feel all of that gone from you. It's going to be, you're going to feel a change in your weight. Literally. Spiritually and literally, you're going to feel lighter. Like you can breathe easier. Like you can move easier. Like you're not afraid, or you're not scared, or you're not mad, or you're not sad, or you're not resentful or regretful. Okay? All those emotions get to go with it. You just get to be happier and freer. It's step one. Okay, now we find ourselves in that place. We went through all the files. I don't even have a file on my desktop anymore that says lies or secrets. It doesn't exist, and it never will again, because there's no reason for it to. Gone. Perfect. Now, I'm going to create a new file that says loving acts and kindness. And what I want to do is see how quickly I can fill that fucker up. Fill it up. Multiple pages of that file right there. Boom, 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 boom. Be a kind person. To yourself, to others, to the planet. Okay? First thing that I started doing was picking up trash. Well, actually, the first thing I started doing was picking up cigarette butts. Because for many years of my life, I smoked cigarettes, and guess what I did? Just like everybody else, as I'm driving out the window, or as I'm out wherever I'm at, just like a fucking slob and a bum, like I see everyone continue to do. Boom, right on the grass. Boom, right on the sidewalk. Boom, right on the road. Nobody cares. And it's like we're just going to burn the earth. Just burn the earth. What if I came over to you and burned you with a cigarette every single time I smoked one? What the hell would you think? Okay, the earth is a living thing, first of all. And who the hell's picking up your trash? You should be picking up your trash. So I was one of those people. So I had made decisions in my life, again, going along with honesty, is making the changes we need to heal ourselves. And part of my healing was giving up smoking, cigarettes, tobacco, okay? So as I'm going through these transformations early on, several years ago, first thing came to my mind, because I'm being honest with myself, because I have space to do that now because I let go of the lies, is myself is letting me know, bro, do you realize how many cigarette butts you littered on this planet throughout the years that you smoked? And I'm like, wow. Do you think life is that much of a dick that it's going to require me to have to pick up as many as I threw down? It should, but if it did, I would have been spending a lot of time picking up cigarette butts. But what I did do is I was honest with myself about it all, and I did make it a conscious intention and point for a very long period of time when I was going out to pick up cigarette butts that should not have been there. It's gross, right? People's mouths have been on it. Guess what? Someone picked up mine, or I had to, doesn't matter. I was a litterer. I was just one, so it doesn't matter. You're a human being. You're my brother. You're my sister. You're not gross to me. I don't give a fuck. You littered. I'm helping you out. Helping us both out. So I went for a long period of time picking them up. There's a period of time, then there's a time that happens, and all of a sudden yourself goes, that was good enough. You did it. Let's move on to the next thing. So it transitioned from cigarette butts, and what happened was, it was cigarette butts and bottle caps, beer caps. Now, I wasn't a beer cap litterer, but I happened to notice them everywhere with the cigarette butts. So it was beer caps and cigarette butts for a long time. It said something to myself and to this world and to life that I want to be here and I care. It means something. Goes into those files, the positive files. And then also those rewards for doing those things continue. My growth continues. And then it transitioned because all of a sudden I was going out and I wasn't seeing cigarette butts and bottle caps. It was the weirdest thing. I'm telling you, the same places I was going, and even different places where I was seeing them, all of a sudden I wasn't seeing them. And life and myself was letting me know, this is a literal reflection, representation of the work you've been doing, Brian. You cleaned it up. You did it. You did your part. I said, wow, these are called breakthroughs. You'll feel them when they're real. And you can probably feel that as I said it. You're like, whoa. it is real. You'll feel it in your heart, and it makes you want to cry and go, wow, you feel proud of yourself. And I said, wow, I did make a difference. I got other people doing the same thing. I noticed other people picking up caps and trash and butts. People that I was spending time with started doing it as well. It has a literal effect, okay? And then it transitioned just into your everyday trash. So I stopped picking up the butts, kind of, so to speak, and the bottle caps. And my focus wasn't so much about those things, but it was just on a grander scale of there's trash here, right? There's a bottle or there's a bag or whatever, and picking those things up. I am out and about a lot throughout my days, and so I'm constantly seeing, when I'm walking around places, trash. And as before, as I'm focused on what I'm doing, or I've got something to do or a place to be, or, you know, it's not my trash, right? That mindset, that's not me. Maybe it was back in the old days. It's not me anymore. So I see this, and it's no different than if it was literally my trash that just dropped out of my hand or fell out of my car. I'm picking it up. It's nobody else's job to pick it up. I want a clean home. If I had guests over my home and they left it trashy, would I be expecting them to clean it up or call them up? Hey, you left your trash. I want a clean home, so I'm going to pick it up. It has an effect. Cleans up the planet, cleans up your soul and yourself. And you're setting the example because people are seeing it. How many times, I'm telling you, how many times I've literally been walking in a parking lot and somebody was by the trash before me, didn't pick it up, and then watched me pick it up. You know they're thinking in their mind something like, I guess I could have got that, or at least they're saying, wow, that person just picked that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a thought that happens about it. There's a feeling that happens about it, and next time they say, you know what, maybe I'll pick the next one up. But maybe that person is not ready to make that choice yet. See, it's always about a choice. You can make the choice right now. Thank you, Backcountry. Love you, brother. So I appreciate you being here, all of you being here. And I appreciate all of your efforts. I'm going to keep doing what I do. You keep doing what you do. Keep following along. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. And we're going to make big things happen. This is going to be an experience unlike any other. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And I hope that you all are too. And I'm glad to be here with all of you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day. Let's continue to say our thanks for our lives, for our health, for our families, for all of the beautiful gifts that life has given us and continues to give us, like our breath and the ability to get up and walk and move and to laugh and to smile and to spend time and reminisce and make memories, right? This is what it's all about. So do the best you can. Make the best ones you can. I love you. You got this, and I got you. Have a great rest of your day. And you know what? We'll probably see you in June. Have a great rest of your May.